It's the night of November 10th, 1979. Canadian Pacific Train 54 was headed to Toronto. The train consisted of 3 locomotives and 106 freight cars. The 3-man crew on board believed this would be just a normal, uneventful run, nothing out of the ordinary, little knowing what was to come. Just before midnight, as the train was passing through the town of Mississauga, Canada, the crew feels the brakes automatically lock up and the train stops. They look back and see an enormous fireball in the distance. Larry Krupa, the brakeman on the train, bravely runs towards the fire to uncouple the train from the derailed cars. Many of the derailed cars were tankers, containing propane, butane, toluene, and styrene, all of which are highly flammable, and as a result, made the fire grow. But now, an even larger problem arose. It was discovered that one of the derailed tankers contained chlorine. Chlorine is a chemical that is used in many household things and can be harmful if large amounts are exposed. When the tanker was discovered, a large hole caused the chlorine to escape, changing it to a gas and forming a low-hanging cloud. The heat from the fire also has the potential to make it an even deadlier phosgene. The police chief then gave out the order.
Be prepared for a possible evacuation later on this evening. I repeat, be prepared for a possible evacuation later on this evening.
Officers then put on their gas masks and began running to houses to tell residents to leave their homes immediately. As time goes on, more tankers explode, more chlorine is escaping, and the evacuation zone continues to increase. Even Hamilton and West Toronto are on standby for an evacuation too. 3 days after the wreck, the fire is put out, but about 35 pounds of chlorine continue to leak every hour.
After several days, residents who'd been living with friends or in makeshift shelters were told it was safe to go home.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you get home?
Make sure the water's hot.
Have a shower.
Take a bath?
Yes.
Get a bath.
Well, wasn't this a holiday?
Are you kidding?
Everything looks great. We didn't get looted. That's good.
The chlorine tanker is finally empty. In all, over 200,000 people were evacuated, making this the largest peacetime evacuation in North America. To make things better, not one train crew member, first responder, or resident died from this wreck. Everyone survived. An investigation concluded that the 33rd car wasn't properly lubricated. This resulted in the buildup of heat, creating what railroaders call a hotbox. The heat eventually burned through the axle and bearing, and at Mavis Road, the car derailed and 24 others went with it. This car also had the older journal bearing design, whereas others had the newer roller bearing style. As a result of this wreck, railroad regulations in the US and Canada required that all rail lines used to carry hazardous materials through populated areas have hotbox detectors. Larry Krupa was inducted into the North American Railway Hall of Fame for his bravery and contributions to the railroad. As of 2019, the Mississauga evacuation is now the 3rd largest in North America, with Hurricane Katrina coming in at 2nd and Hurricane Irma coming in at 1st. Ever since this derailment, Mississauga has been a nice Toronto suburb, but the derailment and evacuation will always be a part of the history of Mississauga forever.